Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Bob DiMaria, and I have a special guest today, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us, and we can have conversation with everybody out there. So, Susan has a very interesting story. I met her recently. We happened to live in the same building in Northern Ohio, and I was downstairs exercising, and she was on a treadmill. And one of the things that she was doing is I noticed that she was really grasping the rails of the treadmill. So Susan, give me a little bit of an idea what's going on and what has gone on in your body the last, how many years?
35.
So for 35 years, what have you dealt with?
So 35 years, there have been times that I have had to roll out of bed and crawl on the floor to get to where I am going because the vertigo has been so horrible that I could hardly stand it. Coming to you has been my godsend. It has been my miracle, and I'm just so grateful for it.
So what did we do that was maybe a little bit different? Have you had other chiropractic care before?
I have had another chiropractor. I had two, but the one did absolutely nothing, and the other one was doing a good job. And I felt that if he had moved an hour and a half away from me, he might have worked out, but that didn't happen.
So I know that we took some films of your spine and we saw some really interesting information about the upper part of your spine. If you remember, your vertebrae in your upper neck were going forward, and we did a very special kind of an adjustment to with the roll. How did your experience go with those adjustments?
The experience has gone very well because the vertigo is almost completely gone. It goes away, and sometimes it comes back immediately, but not now. It doesn't come back immediately, which is really good for me.
And you told me off camera that you always had to grip something. I know when we started doing our initial adjustments with Susan, so she would come in and you would sit down. You'd have to grab our hand, and then we would lower back down on the table, and she was holding our hand the entire time because Dr. Anthony and I both did our adjustments to her. Why did you have to hold our hands? What was going on?
Because when I lay down, after like a couple seconds, the room starts spinning. That's why you notice I always had my eyes closed also.
I did.
I had to keep them closed because I couldn't get the room to stop spinning. And if I hold on to something, like you or Dr. Anthony, then it will go away after a while.
Did you ever have to feel like you had to throw up with this experience? Like when you were doing the dizziness?
Yes.
Did you ever throw up?
I have thrown up before. Yes. It's not pretty.
So what happened what was going on 35 years ago? That's a long time.
I don't know why it all of a sudden started. Dr. Bob told me that I must have had a trauma when I was a kid, and I did. And I guess it has just manifested itself over the years.
So it's kind of funny. We're exercising with each other. I'm always talking to people, but when I saw her gripping, I mean, can you imagine having to hold on to something? And I know off camera I was saying she has to really grip that steering wheel. What happens if you don't?
For dear life. Yes, and I also make sure that I don't twist my head real fast. I can now, but I couldn't because then the vertigo would start. So I tried to just keep my vision really centralized.
So I think it was really important. The reason I wanted Susan to have conversation, so she dealt with this for 35 years. And it was just in passing that we were having some conversation. So for those of you that are watching this today, if you've had chiropractic care, share this with your friends. If you're wondering, and would you say it was Meniere's, or did they ever give you a label for what it was?
They didn't. They never gave me a label. I went through heart tests. I went through different brain function tests, and they never found anything.
So just to repeat myself, it was her upper cervical spine that was in a very unusually locked position. We didn't even adjust her. It was probably 2 weeks into the drop before I made that very first adjustment to her neck that started that whole process. So once again, for those of you that are watching this, it's always worth to send a friend or a relative in if there's any possible way that you think we can help make a difference. I'm Dr. Bob DiMaria with Susan.